Hi, Khalid.
Hi, Claude. Good to see you.
Thank you, sir. How are you today? How to pronounce your name? Always in all the session when we are together, people are asking, Khalid, Khalid, how to pronounce your name?
So the proper pronunciation is Khaled, like you said, but since not many people can pronounce that, I'm happy with Khaled. I often say Khaled like salad,
Yeah, that's it.
um,
That,
or just Khaled.
okay. Khalid, a quick question. Who is Khalid? What you are doing in life? Can people knows about Khalid? I know that the Microsoft community knows Khalid, but what about others? Can you explain to us what you are doing in life?
Absolutely, yeah. And it's a great question because we all know each other professionally, but it's important to look at each other as multidimensional beings. I'm an active volunteer in my community. I like to give back to the people that give me so much. Simply building a family, also building a business, and so really focused on growth at the moment, and that's probably what's top of mind for me most of the time. I'm also a classical guitar player. I like playing tennis, and I love skiing. And if you know me, you've probably heard me talk about the Toronto Raptors or my NBA team, and that's another big passion.
And what about your company as professional work? Like your company is doing what?
So, at consulting, we provide services to Microsoft partners, both SIs and ISVs, to go to market. It really stems from my own experience as a CMO and ISV, where I realized that there's a big gap in what CMOs are prepared to do and what CEOs expect. And so a lot of what we offer are services around developing those market plans, developing annual strategies, and thinking about how you can productize your services or your IoT solutions so you can have more mass appeal. We also have execution services, including Dynamics 365 CRM and CE, HubSpot integrations. We're starting to build some more solutions, and so stay on the lookout for empty solutions, which will be launching in a year with ISV products. But for the moment, the focus is very much on services.
Yeah, but Khalid, if other than the ISV or partners came to you and tell you, "Hey, I need your help," can you help a user, a end user, a customer who is implementing ERP or CRM?
That would be more focused on the solutions than the consulting, which has been the company I've focused on building over the past year. The focus is on Microsoft partners, and that's to enable those community help users better based on my experience and based on industry expertise. But for users who are just trying to integrate HubSpot and Dynamics 365 or anything like that, that definitely falls in the solutions category, but it is a core business line.
Okay, let us go to our main subject of today. We need everybody is talking about AI, artificial intelligence, and some people are using Copilot or ChatGPT or other AI. There are a lot in the market today. And what we need to talk today about how to integrate AI in the ERP and in Business Central or in FNO in case available, and what types of AI we have. Like we have the cyborgs, or I saw a document done by you. If you don't mind, I will share it in this recording also, if possible. Let us talk about AI. What is AI first? Let us do it in a way that people doesn't know what is AI. And is it a machine learning? Is it a really AI? Where we are at 50, we are at 100%. What's going on?
So I love this topic. I know AI is so cliche now, but it was actually my very first job to do market research for SAP engineering machine learning. It was called SAP Leonardo. Folks who work in the SAP space or in the SAP office might know that Leonardo is now the name of the food part, but it feels like a bit of a downgrade from the flagship AI to the food part at office, but that's okay. So thinking about AI, of course, there's multiple different types now. We're mostly familiar with language learning models. If you look at LLMs and models that we're seeing, a lot of the focus is on natural language processing. So for an AI to parse out all the words that we say understand what each of them means, how they relate to each other, and then also adding some predictability capabilities that allow us to understand what could be the most likely word to come next. This is what most folks are now familiar with through applications like ChatGPT, where it is thinking about what is the most logical word to come next, queuing it one after the other. And that's how it's actually forming its sentences. It's not forming meaningful connections that are through reasoning. And the element of reasoning is really where we start seeing the blending between human intelligence and we sort it into context of good intelligence, which is a lot of where the ideas that people mentioned come from. It's Ethan Hawke is a professor. His background, much like mine, is actually in economics, and that's maybe why I relate to his ideas a lot. But even while I touched on how AI can be split into its applications, the application of AI rather than technology, we can talk about the different learning models that we can talk about predictive AI or non-predictive AI. We can talk about some are being used for numerical analysis, while some are being used for natural language processing or image processing or anything else. But I think the most relevant way to think of it for working professionals who we are probably talking to in today's video is Centaurs versus Cyborgs.
Okay.
This idea that he proposes is that Centaurs AI will behave as the first half of your Centaur. If you think there's the first half and the human. And so the human is working with the AI, the one creature we are forming for intelligence, but it's two distinct parts. While in cyborgs, the machine and the human are both integrated, so it's in every part of your workflow. I think both concepts are critical to really start thinking about AI therapy and how AI will be applied to business applications.
But let me tell you, because I'm not advanced in AI, I'm a user on AI, on Copilot, on ChatGPT. Sometimes I'm asking a question like, what type of credit card can give me access to lunch? Okay. Then you ask this question, then I see like AI, it's not, I don't see an AI because he's going and search and give me links like, yeah, you can use American Express, you can use TD bank credit card or blah 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 blah. But like he's going and bringing data from websites. Like it's not like what we are seeing is still not an AI. It's like a machine going and bringing information and as you told me, putting the information together. Like only putting this word with this word to do the phrase. Like when do you think we can have like a full AI, or I don't know if in other engines we will have a more advanced AI to help. Like we let us talk about cyborg. Like when we will have everything integrated together and help you doing most of the job.
Yeah, I don't know when we'll reach singularity, but I will tell you, we do have some examples of AI where it is genuinely predictive. And it's close to home if you look at Azure Machine Learning and some of the experiments that are available through Azure Machine
There are
Learning. It
some
works
really
with
neat
the
predictive models that allow you to do things like, for example, if you have a bunch of subscription contracts, thinking about which ones are most likely to churn or which ones are most likely to not pay the next subscription payments. That's actually being done through predictive analysis. And I think it's funny because around 10 years ago, when I was looking at AI very heavily for SAP, it was mostly if then statements and very basic ones. Like I
Yeah.
would look at Microsoft's AI, Oracle's AI, every single company was saying, oh, yeah, we have AI. But it felt like some ostracized child that no one really knew what to do with it because no one really had much to do with it. Until that breakthrough with GPT 3.0. But they were mostly focused on predictive. stuff, and they were not thinking about natural language processing. They were not thinking about building LLMs. It was largely like you're talking about. And I think we needed this sidestep into LLMs to be able to mainstream and democratize access to AI, and then that will allow for better things. So in your example, Claude, like now if I go on ChatGPT, and folks who look at the paper, and it is an academic paper, I should say, so hopefully people are okay with that. This is a piece of homework that I wrote for my MBA, but in it I actually ran an experiment for a year where I tried to get ChatGPT to write the code for a game of Snake
Yeah.
in Python. And the first time around, it struggled quite a bit. I actually had to break down the steps for it, ask it to reason through like how would you create a game. So okay, it said we're gonna define the parameters, we're gonna define the players, like the items you can interact with, we're gonna define the game loop, and that's where it struggled the most, and then how a game ends and starts. Okay, we reasoned through it. I had to clean up some of its code, but we got to a workable state. I actually still have that game of Snake on my laptop from Pygame. And then a year later, I simply asked it to write the code for a game of Snake in Python. Very simple question. I asked it exactly the same way. It wrote the code, it worked perfectly the first time around. And so that does show us that there is a level of learning. There's a degree of advancement in how tools like ChatGPT are growing, of course, from all the information we're feeding it and we're training it. This is a massive model training experiment that they're doing with ChatGPT. But I agree that it's still not at the reasoning level. And there's a lot of really cool YouTube videos where people try to give ChatGPT ethical dilemmas, like the trolley problem. So they will say, like, I can't remember the name of the YouTube creator, forgive me, but he says, I'm looking to take my wife out for a date and it's gonna cost us about $200, but I'm having a bit of an ethical dilemma because I feel like I could donate the money and feed 28 children for a week with the $200. And the AI tells him, okay, like sometimes you have to do things for fun. But then he
Yeah.
says, a kid is drowning, and if I jump in to save him, I'm gonna ruin my shoes, and they cost $200. What should I do? The AI says, well, jump in immediately. So it's funny to see how it's starting to gain these like human elements where we reason through things and we deal with proximity of danger, but it also creates moral inconsistencies and reasoning inconsistencies, more importantly for a machine, that kind of show it's still not at that all-knowing predictive path,
Yeah.
which frankly I don't think we should hope for it to reach. I don't know if an all-powerful AI is a good thing for
Yeah.
humanity.
Yeah. My other question is more into our community. The most important for our community is like, and Microsoft is working too much and too hard to integrate as much as automation and AI slash Copilot, if you want, because this is the product of Microsoft. And we see like in Business Central, we have multiple things added with Copilot to simplify the life of the users and not replace the user, and to help users doing their job with accuracy and if you want, with easy way. But where do you think we will go? Like, where do you think we can integrate AI agents in Business Central as an example?
Yeah, so for BC, I see four different paths, and they're developed to different extents. I don't think all of them are well developed. I think some of them, there are some ISVs like Data Courage that are well ahead of where Microsoft is in terms of some of these avenues, while others, Microsoft is taking that charge. So the four paths are predictive analytics. So kind of like what we were talking about, if I have subscription contracts, I can ask whatever Copilot is in Business Central or AI agents about what should I do about them and are they gonna churn. I can ask
Okay.
it about my cash flow and if I'm going to be cash flow positive in a few months. There's process automation, so this is basic RPA that we've been familiar with through things like Power Automate and Flows, but going further, and so with things like Sidecar, we'll be able to go into different windows and like pull up a customer card, analyze all their upcoming payments, and then send them a notification that, hey, you have XYZ payments coming up.
Yeah.
Please don't forget. So these are like more intelligent workflows. And here you can start blending a couple of them. So we can say predictive analytics plus process automation is going to give us a chance to say, hey, which customers are most likely to churn? Go send them an email with a promotion. So often I will get a notification from like Skip the Dishes or something saying, hey, here's $5. Please use us again. I don't
Yeah.
know if they clued into it. I only use Skip the Dishes when they give me free money.
Then it will be a mix and match. Like
Yeah,
it's a data analysis with promotions, with things, with data analysis. Like it will be like with Power Automate a little bit. Like it will be a salad of
yes,
everything together.
yes.
Correct?
And there's still two more. So there's personalized insights, which are gonna give you more like meta insights about your use of the solution. Maybe it's gonna give you some insights about your customers, their behavior, but it's more historical. So this is more reflective of what's going on. It's not gonna be able to predict future things. And then the last one is natural language interaction. And this is where I think we're going to have the most fun probably with AI ERPs, and it is likely akin to, it's a more limited example, but think of AP automation. When we
Yeah.
made the jump from AP being exclusively in ERP to folks like, I remember the first ad I saw of this, maybe they weren't the first, but DoApp on D365 Finance was always emphasizing the fact that you can do your approvals on the go from your phone. Of course, that's kind of funny because like ERPs like QuickBooks, which is really not an ERP, accounting solutions, you could do approvals on the go the whole time because it's born in the cloud. And so we're going to see varying degrees of AI integration. Maybe one day in the future, CFOs are going to be working with a terminal similar to ChatGPT, where you talk to it and pulls up the data on your phone on the go. You don't have to actually go into Business Central to pull up your data.
This
And
is
I think,
this is something important because Khalid, you know that the ERP is an enterprise resource planning. All the users are working on. I have my accountant, and now probably the purchasing department is replaced by, not replaced, but it's little bit taking from the work that by AP automation, like the purchase orders are coming by email, it's coming to Business Central. The approval process will run automatically. Someone in the management will approve the PO. But do you think in the future, like the CFO work will be replaced by AI, for example? Like I'm an owner of the company, I don't know anything about financials. Please print me my balance sheet. He will print the balance sheet, my P&L, analyze my P&L. What do you think about my P&L? And like the AI will give me like, yeah, you have to lower your price a little bit or higher your, then give me a full analysis, do my taxation, do my end months. Like, what's the future of these positions?
it's a great question, and I think we've been seeing the writing on the wall for a while. I don't think it's going to replace CFOs, but I think CFOs have to replace themselves. If I'm future looking, forward oriented CFO, I'm not going to stick to being a controller. I need to move into being a revenue
Level
setter.
up. Like
Level
you
up,
will be,
of
yeah,
course. And I've seen really successful CFOs, some of them actually in our channel. There's a CFO I admire a lot who his job actually was more an A management. Like thinking about the company's investments, thinking about things like when is it best to exchange US dollars for Canadian dollars to maximize the arbitrage. These questions become more business model development. And
yeah.
so CFOs are more like CROs. And that's an interesting blending of the roles.
Okay, but then that's very important. Like, we cannot sit and wait. We need to always work to be able to take advantage of the AI in this in our system because it's coming. Like, guys, we are at, I don't know, 20-30% of our road, and a lot of things are coming into the ERPs. And sometimes they will tell me, what is ERP? That's not a problem. The CFO will solve it for. No, the ERP is coming to a word. Like it will, if you don't like go ahead, He will, like, it's a train, or you will be in the train, or the train will leave. Like, this is very important for all the users
Mm-hmm.
to help us. Today, nothing is replacing you. But if you don't work on your capabilities and if you want, if you're on your work and to be with the technology and to give the company better opportunities, yeah, ERP will take your place. Take care of yourself. Work on yourself to be more interactive, to work with the technology and to be advanced. Like an old accountant that he loves to do credit debit. I don't know for the future if you, because today ERP is doing credit debit for us. Like, you will select the accounts, automatically the system will know which credit, which debit. Like, we don't want like the old version of accountant. Now, probably people, when they see this video, they will hate us. But this is for you to be able to work on yourself and to read, educate yourself. Educate yourself. Be more with the technology and with the AI, and no worries. Nothing will replace you. I need to tell all the users, nothing will replace human being. We did the AI. We did the AI. Then every person can be very important in his work and nothing would replace. One last question about the AI in the ERP. What do you think? Like, sometimes I know because you are working during your sleep. What is the best AI that it's not available now? What's the best AI functionality can be in the future? It can be in CE or in the ERP that it's not in the market or on any ERP.
I think moving from AI ERP to autonomous ERP is probably the biggest jump that we have to make. And so autonomous ERP would be like self-improving, self-optimizing, self-reporting and managing ERP. And that's really where we start thinking about, okay, we have to think about co-intelligence for CFOs.
Yes,
Because if ERP gets to a point where you just feed it the data and it can even source data, because we haven't even spoken about OCR, which is a part of ERP,
yes,
which is a part of AI, pardon.
yeah.
So
Automation more, correct?
more automation
Yeah,
and more autonomous
yes,
behavior. And
yeah,
so if I have the end-to-end automation plus the predictive and proactive stuff plus self-learning plus self-optimizing, all we're doing as humans is naturally reacting and naturally interacting with it. So this is going to help us with our decision making and with our agility and of course with cost savings and even resilience. Like, you're going to have a degree of redundancy that is really healthy, but humans have to be the final checkers. And so I will say, if you're a CFO and you're like interested in keeping your job in the future, it's a really good idea to be hyper aware of where your revenue comes from. How can you diversify your revenue streams? How can you meet compliance goals? How can you manage change? And how can you be almost a psychologist? Because you have to think about, how will this AI interpret what
yeah,
I'm saying? And how will I communicate my findings in a way that continues to guarantee security, continues to guarantee my governance, allows me to manage change, and allows me to diversify my revenue and keep my revenue robust, but also keeps me in the decision making
yeah,
seat. I will say, I've mentioned Ethan Mollick, and I do strongly recommend his book Co-Intelligence. But another book that might be more relevant to folks in the channel is a book by Brad Smith, the president and chief legal counsel for Microsoft. It's called Tools and Weapons. Again, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the name of his co-author, but it's not only written by Brad Smith. There's another author who helped him write it, who we should recognize, but Brad Smith is who's most relevant to our space, and that's a great read, because we're starting to get into the level of AI where it is like the cloud. A lot of Tools and Weapons is about the cloud, and it's about when Microsoft was trying to dominate the cloud space and how they were working with governments to ensure this. And Brad even goes into some degree of talking about things like when Explorer when the antitrust lawsuit happened, after Microsoft put Internet Explorer on every machine. I think AI is in a similar phase right now where it's in hyper growth and it's in the state of deciding, is it going to be a tool or is it going to be a weapon?
Yeah, yeah. But when we were talking about phases, like the first phase was like going from on-prem
Mm-hmm.
to the cloud. Most of the people was no, I don't want. Now 90% of the people are on the cloud. Then after that, when we were talking about like introducing the copilot and automation, people was no, I don't want. Now the next phase is the AI. Then we are jumping from a phase to a phase, and nobody lost his work yet. The most important is to work on our education and technology. And this is life. Like pilot, the airplane pilot, still a pilot. We have co-pilot, I don't know, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
They didn't lost their job. Like
Yeah.
always we need Copilot is here to help us, or AI is here to help us, not to take our place.
Agreed.
It's not the time. Probably in 100 years, I don't know, but today it's not the case. Khalid, thank you so much for helping. Khalid, not Khalid. Khalid, thank you so much. And sorry for the microphone problem during the session. We will see Khalid in multiple sessions in the future. Thank you
Yes, sir.
so much for all the information, and thank you for approving having your book 9. I will share it in the comments also when we put this recording. Thank you so much, Khalid, for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Claude,
Okay?
for having
See
me,
you.
and thank you for being such a great champion for our community. It's great to
Thank
see
you.
your videos and the way you spread your knowledge.
Thank you. Thank you, Khalid. Thank you so much. See
Thank
you.
you, Claude.
Thank you.
Bye.